When I was first getting started in the corporate world, the people that they were thinking about partnering with me, there was a certain company that did all the booking for a particular airline that's local. And they gave me a group of people and they gave this doctor a group of people. And the people in my class got to eat all foods. They could have their Mexican food, their hamburgers, whatever they wanted. And they were losing weight. And in the doctor's class, it was really more of a diet. And the people in his class kept asking if they could get out of his class and join the other class. It was fun. And it's not me. It wasn't my mom who started this. It's so smart. It's just common sense, getting to eat what you want to eat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of what Naturally Slim is in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's
But we'll
fantastic.
talk more.
Well, yeah, and I remember my mom actually was part of one of your early classes when you used to teach, small groups of 10, 15 people at churches and in homes and things like that. She was one of those.
Yeah.
And I know that there's great satisfaction in helping a group of 10, 15 people. At this point, you have helped millions of people.
Yeah.
What does that do for you? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel so good because since I had taught some at churches or small groups, I really thought that was the way it was supposed to grow. But kind of how you said, life just takes turns and twists, which we'll talk a lot about that for both of us, that we don't think. My turn and twist was it had me teaching for corporations. Whereas I thought we'd be more of a model like, say, a Weight Watchers or a Jenny Craig or whatever, where you're kind of like, here's a person you help, here's a person you help. What we realized when we worked with corporations was, well, I'll put it to you this way. I remember the first day we started 10,000 people in a day because we'd mail everybody out kits.
Wow.
And our shipper sent us this picture of a pallet of the kits we were shipping out. And it was 10,000 in a day. So it's like, serendipitously, it was just that it was made so that we could just reach multitudes. And yes, literally now millions of people have been helped by it. So, yeah, wasn't my intent, but it's the way it went.
So were there any particular industries or organizations that you worked with? Is there a niche for Naturally Slim?
That is a great question. So what was so cool, and then Naturally Slim still is out there today under the name of Wonder, WONDR. But way back when, we started really looking at all the groups, everything from people who made overhead doors to worked on railroads, who we had one of the what's basketball? NBA teams. We had one of the NBA teams. We've had search engine companies. We've had a couple of airlines, state and local governments, my old alma mater, college, university. We've had all kinds of, and we've noticed that it doesn't matter if it's blue collar, white collar, what it is, it resonated with everybody.
Right.
Because it was just things like eat when you're hungry, stop when you're comfortable, and then you can eat whatever you want to eat. You just follow those common sense rules. So it was so cool that we just got all kinds of clients in there.
Well, as you know, but not everybody may know, I was overweight. Part of my story is the Naturally Slim saved me, and I know we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the reason that helps me want to know more about your story is because I remember things that benefited me through the Naturally Slim journey, and I'm really curious how you learned certain things. And I remember you saying, here are some principles you follow that you gleaned from the food diaries that people kept. And even a couple of those, I remember you saying, we don't know why exactly this happens, but when we have so much data, we're confident telling you this is what you need to do. So tell me about the food diaries, particularly from so many people.
Yes. Didn't love it at the time because you would have a class of, let's say, 25 people. And it was a once a week class. And that once a week class, you taught your content that week. They went home and they practiced it all, and they kept a food diary of everything they ate. And then they'd come back, and I was usually the person by the scales, or they wrote it on their food diary, so I knew what they weighed, if they lost or not. I'd take them home with me, and I'd make notes, and I'd mail them back to them so they could start practicing before they got to class. And when you've done thousands upon thousands of food diaries where you're going, this person ate this, this, and that. They were hungry. They were not hungry. This is the portion. This is how slow they ate or didn't eat. They come back, you see their weight. It's so much better, I think, than a lab where you're feeding everybody the same calorie diet and you're measuring electrolytes, weight, fat, da-da-da-da-da. In fact, it would be really frustrating sometimes because there's just certain beliefs out there in the food world, in the dietitian world, in the weight loss world that somebody said one day and we chose to believe it. But there's so many things I'd go, that's not so. If you love Insights with Marcia and you want even more, I have something for you. Go to my Patreon page, and there you'll be able to watch ad-free episodes that come out early, bonus content every week, my personal show notes, and you may even have a chance to get your questions answered on the podcast. So for $5, $10, or $20 a month, we will keep this conversation going. So go to patreon.com/insights with Marcia, patreon.com/insights with Marcia. And let's have some fun. Let's keep the conversation going. I hope to see you there.